Welcome into the Sports Tree Studio for this week's edition of Talk Birdie Me, presented to you by Everyday Freight. Help your business coordinate commercial shipments from one skid up to full loads all across North America. Everyday Freight for your shipping needs. Now, a little PGA news before we get into breaking down the Arnold Palmer Invitational. The PGA has announced that in 2024, they will be removing cuts from certain elevated events. They're basically turning into LIV. Why are they doing this? Well, I think it's so LIV stops poaching the top PGA players. The reason being that the PGA, in order to get paid in the PGA, you have to make the cut. In LIV, there is no cut, so you get paid. The idea is here, now the PGA and all the big names that are invited to these elevated events, the Max Homas, the Jon Rahms, the Rory McIlroys, they're going to get a guaranteed paycheck, so it's less likely that the money incentive will draw them to LIV. I believe that's why the PGA is doing it. I personally don't like it, but look out for that coming in 2024. Now, let's jump in to this tournament where there will be a cut. It will be competitive. We got some real golf the way it should be played. Bay Hill, awesome track, very, very long, thick rough, so it plays even longer down in Florida. The Arnold Palmer Invitational. Key stats for this track. Well, it does measure 6,454 yards, so not overly long, but it plays longer with that rough. So, important stats to game. You got to drive the ball accurately off the tee, and you got to hit it far, right? Mitigate some of that length, stay out of the rough, not get close on approach. Approach shots very important here, and then give yourself birdie opportunities. So that's what we're really looking at. It's going to be strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained tee to green, and then strokes gained on approach. Pretty basic, but it's going to be very, very crucial. So we're going to be very nitpicky with our stats. Another thing that we have to know, all par threes on this course measure 199 yards or more. Guys like me would be whacking a driver around. So we're also going to just look at guys that are very good and accurate with their long irons off the tee for some good par 3 scoring. Now, let's jump into the field. No surprise here. Jon Rahm, he's the betting favorite, right? Some books have him down to 6.5 to 1. It makes a little bit of sense. He's won 5 of the last 9 times he's teed it up internationally. 5 wins in 9 tournaments that he's entered. He's winning more than 50% of the tournaments he's entered. That's absurd. I won't be playing him at 6.5 to 1 because of the strength of the field, because there's some horses for the courses. Another guy coming in 9 to 1, 10 to 1, Rory McIlroy, right? We were just talking about the horse for the course. In 8 visits to the API, he's never finished worse than T27 with 7 top 13s, 4 top 6s, and a win. Yes, you want to talk about a horse for a course? Rory is warming up in the stables as we speak. But again, I won't be playing Rory. I get why some people are playing Rory. The number is a little more enticing than Jon Rahm's. But the last 2 weeks, I've seen him lose multiple strokes with his putter, and I can't get around that. His putter's been solid for the last better part of 18 months, but the last 2 weeks it's been shaky. You need to be able to bury putts at Bay Hill to be in contention, especially against this level of field. Now, the first guy that I will be playing at 10 to 1, it's a bit of a cop-out, but it's Scottie Scheffler. He's already defended a title this year. He won the Arnold Palmer Invitational last year. Another chance to defend the title. He leads the tour in strokes gained over the last 36 rounds tee to green. He's 70 under par over his last 4 events, finishing no worse than 12th. I will be investing in Scottie Scheffler in a top 20 spot at Dash 200. Maybe parlay that with some of my favorite UFC bets for the weekend. But I will also be playing a Scottie Scheffler to win ticket because he's 1 for 1 in defending his championships now through his career. Why not make it 2 for 2? It's possible. He is the guy that could do it. Again, tough field, but the stats are lining up. Tee to green, looking great. Driving the ball well, putting well. I like Scottie Scheffler to make some noise this week at 10 to 1. Another couple guys to talk about here. Max Homa, in 3 trips to Bay Hill, he's finished T24, T10, and T17 last year. So the success, it's everything's going in the right direction. I just don't know if I want to play Max Homa outside of California. I've been so hot with Max Homa that I don't really want to take him off the burner, if you know what I mean. I want to keep him sizzling in California, and I don't want to play him for a loss. So let's see how Max adjusts to Florida golf this season. I know he's been good in seasons before. Obviously, we just talked about how well he's done at this event. However, I won't be playing Homa. I think there's better places to allocate my dollars to. Now, Collin Morikawa is an interesting one. 4 top 6s in his last 5 starts. Now, I could get behind Collin Morikawa. I won't, because There's so many good golfers in the field. I could see the argument for Colin Morikawa. I could see the argument for Will Zalatoris, fresh off a T4. The reason I'm not going to play Morikawa is because of the talent in the field, and I'm going to be going horses for the course at this event. That's really where I'm going to be putting my money. Guys that have won here before, guys that are playing hot golf right now. Morikawa, he's playing hot golf right now, but he hasn't won here before. It's just that simple. He could, but I won't be playing Colin Morikawa, and I won't be playing Will Zalatoris just because, look, he looks better. The backs looked great. His putter is even looking better. I believe he ranks top 40 on the PGA Tour over the last 3 events in putting. Yes, he does. So, Will Zalatoris, he could be worth the look, but I'm not touching him because of the back. That's why. Now, 30-1 range is where things get spicy. You have Victor Hovland. He's never missed a cut here in 4 trips. He finished T2 last year. I could see people playing Victor Hovland. I personally won't be because of the wind and because his short game around the green just isn't quite there yet. If it wasn't as windy, they're projecting a ton of wind this week, then Victor Hovland would be a great play, in my opinion. However, it's just the around the green play for the level of skill in the field. I'll be allocating my dollars elsewhere. Matt Fitzpatrick, 3 consecutive top 10 finishes here. I could nibble on a top 20 for Matt Fitzpatrick, but I can't get around to the win. And here's why. Because I can't bet on everyone to win. I already have a ticket on Scotty Scheffler to win, and I have a ticket on these 2 guys. And these two guys are going to make some noise. Jason Day has 3 consecutive top 9 finishes coming into this week. He won this event back in 2016. He's a former world number 1, and he is playing some of the best golf, ball striking wise, he's played in his entire career. If he can get to the greens, I like Jason Day to make some noise again this week. I have a ticket on J Day to win at plus 30-1, at 30-1 on PointsBet. Absolutely love that number. And with the way he's playing, 3 consecutive top 9 finishes, 3 consecutive top 10s. Let's go, Jason Day. Punch him in for a top 20 finish at plus 115 on PointsBet. And then here's our best bet of the tournament: him versus Sungjae Im. That's right, folks. Your Bogey Club best bet of the tournament: Sungjae Im versus Jason Day. Take Jason Day in the 72-hole matchup at -125. Sungjae Im hasn't finished inside the top 40 in 2 consecutive events, and we just said Jason Day, 3 consecutive top 9s. Former winner here. There's your best bet of the tournament, presented to you by the Bogey Club. Our last guy that we're going to touch on, also at 30-1, another guy that I love to win this tournament, who's won this tournament before. He's never missed a cut here. He debuted with a T4 in 2017, and he finished T2 last year. And as I said, he's already won here. Tyrrell Hatton at 30-1. Let's go. A fiery golfer. His games look good. It's not great, but it's looked good. And I know what he can do around the Arnold Palmer, and I know he's an emotional kind of guy. So this is a boomer bust pick. He could literally miss the cut, or he could win this thing. And I'm going to put a little bit of money on him to finish top 20. I'm going to put a little bit of money on him to win at 30-1. To see a guy that's done it before, to see a guy that steps up and has that fire, that swagger for big time situations, I definitely like Tyrrell Hatton this week. Now, sleeper pick. Sleeper picks are really tough for this tournament because the guys at, like, the Minwoo Lees at 125-1 aren't going to win. It's maybe they could, but as much as I like Minwoo Lee at 125-1, I won't be playing that. However, Tommy Fleetwood at 75-1, that could be worth the investment. He's made 5 of 6 cuts here. He placed top 20 last year. He has 3 top 10s here, including a T3 in 2019. It could be worth the look at 75-1. You bet $100, you walk away with $7,500. I'm just saying it could be worth the look, especially a top 20 spot, paying plus 220 on PointsBet. Yeah, we're locking in Tommy Fleetwood as our sleeper pick this week. All right, folks, as for your trivia question for this week's edition of Talk Birdie, may be presented to you by Everyday Freight to get in to win a pair of PGA tickets to any event that you would like, excluding a major. Who was the last golfer to win consecutive Arnold Palmer Invitationals? It didn't happen that long ago, within the last decade. Yeah, so just look it up. Head over to sportsview.ca, punch in your answer, and you're in to win a pair of PGA tickets, and you can upgrade your subscription to upgrade your chances at winning. Folks, thank you so much for tuning into the show. We'll have some UFC content later this week. We have Dr. Darce coming on to break down some MMA bets with us. A great MMA handicapper. I believe he said he has 40 units already bet on this card. So it's going to be an awesome UFC 285. So stay tuned for that coming this Friday. And we'll have golf updates for you all weekend long. Folks, I'm Connor Roundtree, and we'll talk birdie to you next time.